Hello and welcome to my vlog. This is vlog 011, which means it's my 12th vlog, which is quite an achievement for me because this would be the third vlog I've released within the past 30 days. And I think last time I talked about how it's mostly because I play video games while I vlog, and today I'm going to play a game called The Simpsons Bart versus the Juggernauts, and I've already recorded this vlog once. It was a 10-minute vlog, and the reason I deleted it is because, the reason I'm redoing it is because I just, I went on for 10 minutes, and I kept losing my train of thought. Oh, somebody sent me a message. Quick break for a message. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kept losing my train of thought, and I kept repeating myself, and I do that often. I do that especially while playing these games, so I wanted to go back and redo it, especially now that I got the hang of this game and realized that I just suck, and this game sucks. I hate it. I just hate this game. I hope you hear the horrible music in the background, because I hear it, and I'm gonna mute it. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I can't stand this game. I'm gonna play it. Did I say that it's the game of the week for a podcast I listen to called New Game Plus? I think I plug them almost every single vlog, just because it's my favorite podcast, really. I mean, I listen to it the second it comes out. So in this game, just real quick, I'm playing as Bart, and I'm doing a series of challenges for money, and I have to meet a certain goal, and here's Kent Brockman and Professor Dr. Monroe. On the Discord chat for New Game Plus, we talked about Dr. Monroe being one of the characters that was like early on in Simpsons and then just kind of disappeared. I'd love to see that character come back. I mean, I think I see the character come back once in a while because he's like the town therapist. And actually, as you win and lose, he makes all kinds of stupid jokes about Bart, and about like growing up in a bad environment with like without a proper father figure, and just like really bad jibes. But I guess it makes sense. He's supposed to be like this, you know, like, oh, I'm a therapist, but I don't have compassion. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk about why I vlog in the first place. And really what it comes down to is why I blog in the first place, right? Like, so I started blogging about almost 10 years ago. And I started blogging on a blog called Dave PC Guy. That was my brother's company. He did computer repair, computer building, security networking. I'm gonna go ahead and reset the game because I already lost it. Yeah, so we started a blog together. And I started my programming journey at that point. So basically setting up that blog was the beginning of my programming journey. And each blog post that I wrote was about something I learned about programming that week or that month or whatever it was. And I would just kind of expand on it. I would talk about, let's say I was learning about CSS properties, so I would take the CSS property border radius, and I would just write a whole blog post on it. And that's what I did. I mean, I literally went through like all these different CSS properties and what they did, like text decoration or text transform. Yeah, text decoration, I think it's called. Tab completion just has ruined me. I don't remember the names of these properties anymore. I just yeah, tab completion. I would write it out. I would draw out diagrams in Illustrator or whatever else I had, GIMP, I don't know. Or Photoshop. Most likely I did it in Photoshop. Yeah, so I would write it out, and oh no, I didn't mean to jump there. And made it, you know, explained it to myself. And what was great is that some of these blog posts ranked pretty high, and so when I actually looked up a property, like the border radius, and oh god, that was bad. Do I get any money? Yeah, poor father figure. I'm like clicking through it because I've seen it so many times. Anyway, sometimes my blog post would come up as the top result. So, you know, I forgot how to do, let's say, the border slicing. Border image, that's what it's called. I've been trying to figure out the name of that property. I would try to learn about the border image, and it would be like me explaining it to myself. And that was wonderful because I'm my own best teacher. If I can explain it, if I explain it, I'm basically explaining it to myself. That's it? Oh my god. So I basically have to do like 5k in every single challenge. I'm never gonna finish this. Anyway, so that was at a time when there were a lot of like link sharing websites for programming, like goodtutorials.com was a huge one. It still functions. It's just not as it's not as big anymore. I really enjoyed it. D-Zone was like a huge deal. I don't know if D-Zone still exists, but D-Zone was like the dev.to of like, you know, 5-6 years ago, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, so it was great, you know, teaching myself sorry, it was great learning by trying to teach other people. And then I would go back and I read through those blog posts, and not only would I teach myself again, I also got the opportunity to basically retrospect and realize how far I've come and what I've learned since then. There was one blog post in particular on sending. It was an email form, and you were able to send out an email using PHP, and it was a one-pager script. Now, one-pager, that means that the code, HTML, and everything was on a single page. And it was, or you know, single page of code, or a single file rather. And it was just horrible, messy code. And I would read through it, and you know, at the same time, I was amazed at the fact that I was able to. I was amazed at the fact that I was able to understand all of this, understand how the mail client works, how to structure it, how to put it all together and validate it and send it out. And at the same time, I was also kind of amazed at how far I've come since then. So, like, last time I read it, I was already, you know, I was gone from that era where PHP and HTML were together in a single file. I was already in like an MVC framework called Laravel, or Laravel, or whatever you want to call it. And so my patterns were completely different. I was installing dependencies, I was using like classes, I was using these different patterns, and it was just amazing to see not only like what I knew, but how far I've come since then. And that actually inspired when I restarted my blog, and I called it Add Genos. You can see the link somewhere here, and it's going to be in the description. I started doing these retrospectives, and basically at the end of the year I would say, this is what I've learned this year. And it helped me because as you learn more, you kind of slow down, or it feels like you slow down, because you're going from zero. When you start learning, let's say, programming, you go from zero, knowing nothing about programming, to creating applications, and that's a huge fucking leap, right? Once you start creating applications, it's kind of like, well, now I know how to create better applications. It's still, I would say, it's even, you have to learn even more to get from building applications to building good applications, and then scaling, right? Like, it's these huge chunks of knowledge, but on the outside, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like I've learned that much more, right? Like, I went from learning nothing to learning a programming language, and now I'm like, oh, now I know how to use it better. But using it better doesn't feel like such a huge leap, right? Even though it is. I feel like it is. So I started writing these retrospectives of what I've learned, what I've done in the past year. And from there, I also started doing this thing where I would, I'm not even playing this game anymore. From there, I started to do this thing where I would set out goals for myself. Not goals, but yeah, I mean goals, like what I want to do next year, what I want to learn. And you know, then I started to retrospect on that. Like, hey, this is what I did last year, and this is what I wanted to do last year, and this is what I actually ended up doing. Oh no, oh no. No. This is interesting. I'm stuck. No. That's interesting, so I need to jump on them. Alright, oh, why did I just do that? Just Game Boy controls. Anyway, yeah, so I set out these goals, and at some point I started reading back through them once in every while, and what I really wanted to do from that point on, I lost again. This is just ridiculous. Okay. I'm just gonna keep replaying the same level over and over again. Looks like I need to learn how to do that Monroe challenge before the skateboard one, because the skateboard one is pretty easy, I guess, to get like 5K in it. Anyway, so I would retrospect on the past year, I would set up goals, and I started including personal details, like, and details about my writing, and then details about my life, like, hey, I had a kid in the past year. And then, hey, I like this music, and I read these books in the past year. And it just became this huge thing all of a sudden, and I really loved it because, again, it would show you just how far you've come, but it also help you remember who you were back then, and what's changed since then. I just love that feeling. I like reading through my old diaries. I like keeping a diary. I have one right here. Oops, there was a lot of noise. I have one right here, and I'm filling it up steadily. And it became less about events now and more about feelings and dreams and things like that, which I think is more important than actual like historical facts or historical facts about your life. Anyway, and at some point I started doing YouTube videos. Teaching YouTube videos. I think the first like major one that really made an impact was my series on Zerb Foundation. And what's really cool is that I revisit that video. I don't use that framework at all, but I built most of the Angular for it. I was employed by Zerb to do it, and so I like watching these videos. And what's really cool is like seeing my own code. And what it was back then, and so it's the same. Oh, I gotta pick this up. It's the same deal as the blogging, right? I was able to explain something to myself. In this instance, it didn't really matter if I understood it or not, just because it's like it's not that big of a deal. Well, or like just because I don't actually use it. Damn it! I don't really understand the patterns of this. Okay. Anyway, but what was even cooler was seeing my little webcam in the bottom right, seeing my haircut, seeing how I dressed, seeing how I talked, listening to myself, listening to my own ideas. It was just like so freaking cool because, I don't know, it gave me a better connection to myself, I suppose. Gave me a better way to connect with who I was back then. Oh, nice. I actually caught this one. So they do a bunch of fake ones, I guess? I didn't know. Okay, so it actually killed me this time. After that, I did my React video, or like my React series. And again, you know, I started to notice a little bit more details. Not only did I look at the webcam, but I looked at, you know, what does my code editor look like? And I know it's kind of silly, but it's actually really cool to see how you progressed with coding. I used to write all of my code in Dreamweaver a long time ago. Shit. I didn't know that that would happen. Alright, let's restart it again. I'm gonna go ahead and run it again. I would look at my code editor. I started with Dreamweaver, and I don't have any videos of that. I almost want to say luckily. I did Sublime Text. Then I started doing Vim. In a few of my videos, I started using Emacs. Then I started using Visual Studio Code. And again, it's really cool to see like the progression of how I enjoyed programming, what I enjoyed about it, how I like to do it every day, how I spent my time with coding. Then I started making videos that were non-programming ones, and I think one of the most important ones was a series I did last year called Startup Productivity in Personal Life. And I go back to those again, and this time it's not even about coding. I talk about basically just my thought process. I go back to what my thought process was back then. It's like almost like a reality check in a way. I don't know. Like I'm a very nostalgic person. I'm very much a person that likes to look back on things and analyze why they happened the way they did, and not in a bad way. I don't overanalyze. I almost get nostalgic for all the mistakes and all the things that I did and why I did them. And again, reality check. It's a big deal. I will tell you, like reading through my diaries, that happens every single time. Huh. Reading through my diaries, I realized that I was a much different person than I thought I was. I just can't figure this game out. Yeah, and so that actually gave me perspective as to like maybe why some things happened the way they did. yeah, like for example, I was always curious as to, like, you know, well, why didn't I stay friends with this one person? And then, like, reading through my diary, I'm like, well, we weren't really compatible as friends at all at that point. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the recording and pick it back up in a minute. And I'm back. I have to go take care of my kid real quick, and gonna go ahead and reset, and looked up the guide to this game that'll make it markedly easier. So what was I saying? So I was doing these videos on productivity, and it was fun. And it's great to see my thinking. It's great to see how far I've come. And eventually, I realized that what I really want to see out of all these videos is just my thinking process, my opinions and stuff on everything that I want to do. You know, everything that I like doing. I tried to start a podcast, but I had such a hard time with it because I tried to make it perfect, and I'd spend so much time like editing and doing all this stuff, because podcasts usually get a little bit more editing than vlogs, just to cut down on the time and not make it boring anymore. So I found out that if I speed up and jump over the Juggernaut, and I can get the skateboard, and that skateboard is actually a bunch of, whoops, I'm gonna start over. It's actually a bunch of points, so we're gonna get that. Anyway, so I started doing these vlogs, and they were hard because I tried to edit them as much as possible at first. Then I stopped editing them and just started adding intros and outros, and now I'm here where I just play games and I talk about shit, and I enjoy it. In my last vlog, one of the things I talked about why I don't edit my vlogs was because my machine gets tied up rendering this shit for a long time, and I cannot have my machine unavailable for like 2 hours as it's rendering. I work on this machine, and I work on it during the day. I work during the night, and it just makes it. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna try this again. It just makes it impossible for me to do that. So now I'm on vlog 12, and ever since I started playing the games while I'm vlogging, this would be my 3rd or 4th vlog. It's just very quick, and I enjoy it so much. Let's fly over, get the skateboard, yes! And that's extra money, and we can catch it twice. So let's try our luck on this, yeah? Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and do this. I didn't have enough speed. Let's see how much money that was. Maybe seven grand? I'm hoping 7 grand. Okay. Okay, so 6 grand. Okay, well, that's better than 5 grand. let's just focus on the game for a little while. I don't know. I hope I explained all of that correctly. Whoops. So what you're supposed to do here is hold the A button, and it helps you, it makes you jump over a square. And then I figured out the timing. Oh, it jumps over 2 squares in general. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I messed that up again. Alright. I'm gonna get it this time. Let's try to do the ball game thing first, since I don't really have a handle on that. I know I can get 5,200 in the other game, for sure. And I can possibly make it 6,200, so let's just see how much money I can win in that game. Yeah, I think this is pretty much the end of my vlog. I mean, I don't know, like, what else to talk about, like, why a vlog. Might want to ask, like, why I want to, I don't know, why don't I talk about some of the things that I want to do in the future? One of the things I want to do in, I guess, the next month is do, like, an overview of 2017, just like I do with my, oh, wait, where's the ball? Just like I do on my blog, I might want to do here. My only worry is that somehow... No! Shit! Yeah, that somehow this channel is going to overtake, like, No! Damn it! No! Getting better. Okay. When I was reading the guide, they made it seem like, they made it seem like, oh, so what am I supposed to do now? Run back? I see, I was supposed to run back. Alright, let's see how much money I made. $500? That's definitely not enough. Well, let's start over. Yeah, one thing I worry about is that I'm gonna, like, abandon my blog. But I've been kind of steadily abandoning my blog anyway. It's just been transforming into something different. I used to write technical tutorials, then opinions, and now I just write notes, basically, for myself and for other things. And, I don't know. I've been enjoying YouTube a lot more because, you really don't have to do any... I don't have to do much marketing in order to get a good deal of views on certain videos. Like, it just kind of snowballs. And it used to do that on my blog too, but I feel like maybe, you know, Google's search engine algorithm is a little bit less forgiving than the YouTube one. Or rather, the YouTube one is unpredictable enough that I can actually make it happen without doing a ton of work. I mean, I've heard so many complaints about the way that YouTube works, the way the algorithm works. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. No! I just killed my... Oh, just did this. God, this sucks. There we go. Second one. And I need to go back. No, no. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, there's... Fuck. Why did I do that? There's a little bit of a chance of, like, basically me making it on YouTube by accident. That really doesn't happen with blogging, right? Like, I don't know. It's never happened to me that I wrote a blog, didn't do really much to promote it, and it blew up and became huge. No, I've always had to post it on Reddit, on Hacker News, discuss it, keep the discussion going, just so that it could, like, really hit it off. The only exception would be a blog that I wrote called, like, I don't know, Development is Not My Passion, I think, something like that. And somebody else posted on Reddit and reaped the sweet, sweet karma, the sweet, sweet link karma that I felt like was righteously mine. And then it had like 500, 600 comments and like 2,000, 3,000 upvotes, and it was just really, really good. But that was the only time that, I don't know, my content ever got shared and I profited from it without realizing, you know, without realizing it. But here, you know, I post a video and then it has like 3,000 views and I'm like, I don't remember doing anything to make that happen. Oh, wait, I need the ball. Let's just finish this round, I think, and I'm gonna go ahead and just be done with it. Okay. It's when the floors change. Whoa, no! No! I keep doing this. I keep accidentally killing myself. Damn it. I'm gonna start over. Just one more, I swear. Just one more. Anyway, you know, I would love to hear from other people why they vlog or what they think about vlogging, and just go ahead and write it down in the comments. You know what, I'm not gonna make any of you go through another round of this horrible, horrible fucking game. I'm just gonna finish up, and thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, share the video, and do all those other things that other vloggers say. Or not, you know, I think I got 10 views per vlog, and I think that I'm pretty happy with that. But until next time, which might be very soon, or, you know, not very soon.